is Kat from Kat Southern Charms, back with a new video. Today, I gave you a little preview. I showed you this adorable little cute turtle that we have. It's actually a little planter. When he's cured, he'll have an area that you can put a succulent plant in, whatever you want to put there. Paper clips, thumbtacks, whatever you want to store there. But he's really cute. I love his little face. So, what we're going to do this time, we're going to use our ECO resin, which is like plaster. It is safe to use for families, pregnant people, people who might be going chemotherapy, things like that, because it's not chemical based. It cures by water evaporation. You mix it with regular water and it cures by water evaporating off, which causes it to become hard. But I want to warn you, a lot of these eco resins say you can demold it within 40 minutes, an hour, whatever. I suggest you don't do that, because if you do that early, your plaster or your eco resin is very tender. It still has a lot of water in it, which means it's very fragile. The best thing to do is wait, I would say at least 4 hours. Let it really cure up and become solid, because if you don't, you're going to lose tails and toes and wings and all little intricate details you don't want to lose, like maybe his eyeballs we would lose. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to let this sit for 4 to 5 hours before I take it out. And I'm going to do something different today. I have these colors that are made for this resin, because I made a different video, and I'll link it at the end, experimenting with how you can color this eco resin. We used acrylic paint, we tried alcohol ink, we tried transparent ink, we tried mica powders, we ran the whole gamut with it. I can tell you, alcohol ink is a no-go. It just evaporates and is gone. Acrylic paint works great. And what else? Mica powder works great too. The trick to these colorants is you add the like base to the like base. So mica powder, you would add to the powder, right? So add your mica in. It takes a big amount of mica to change that color, but it works. And you also need to add a little more water, because the mica will soak up the water. So there's a tip for that. Now, if you're using a colorant like this, like acrylic paint, you put your paint in the water, because the paint is water-based. You want to add it to your water before you mix the powder. That is the best result for those kind of colorants. But today, I'm going to do a marbling effect, and that I'm going to add after I mix this, simply by adding a little color on a stick and marbling it in my mix, and I'll show you how we do that. But first, and this is the other thing, when you mix these, you don't have a lot of work time. So this is why you see I have multiple mixes out and ready to go, because I did not fill this. I did not get an idea of how much it's going to take. So I have some molds off to the side that I can use if I need to, if I have a little bit extra left over. But let's get to mixing. We'll do our biggest one first. And you need to pay attention to your packaging, because this is a 10:3 ratio for this powder. And what does that mean? It can be really confusing for a lot of people. So let's make it simple. 10:3 would be if you added 10 grams of powder, you would use 3 grams of water. That is 10:3. So if I multiply by 10, so I use 100 grams, I would multiply 3 by 10, and that's 30 grams. So I would use 100 grams of powder, which is what we have here, and 30 of water to make this consistency. And you can really tell when you're stirring this. Make sure you get all the powder out of all the little crevices. You scrape the side down. You scrape your stirrer down because you don't want powder stuck on the end like that is. You want to make sure you scrape it all down good and incorporate it back into your mix like so. Alright, this is good and mixed. Alright, so now we're gonna marble this. And I got these colors. And we also have these colors that come with this ECO resin. So let's do one. Ooh, see how it's separated? You need to make sure that you shake these good to get it all mixed up. And you gotta hurry because you don't have a lot of work time. I think the work time is about 8 minutes. So that's not a lot of time. Shoot. I gotta cut this. I did not puncture this. Alright. So, to marble this, I'm gonna add a little, well, dagnabbit. I'm gonna add a little green. Shoot. Y'all. I didn't want this wide open, but I guess I don't have much choice. I'm just putting 2 drops on the end of the stick, and I'm going to slice into this. Alright, that's not working very well. So let's do this. This is a peacock. And again, I'm gonna have to slice. There we go. Alright. Let's try again. Alright, put 3 drops on this one. And we're just going to slice it down in there. Alright, so we're going to pour this because I can't wait any longer. I don't want to wait any longer. Let's put it that way. I'm going to get all this out. And now, once you put this in your mold, you can tap it down like you would a pan if you're baking cake, right? You tap your pan on your counter, and we can squeeze this to make sure it gets in every little nook and cranny, and we're going to tap it down. That's going to make the bubbles rise. And I can tell y'all, I haven't really had much issue with bubbles in this. So we're going to mix another one. This marbling is not working like I wanted it to at all. Of course, because nothing works like you want it to, right? These are the first time I've used these little colorants. So what we're going to do, we're just going to pour it. It's going to come out white. And then I'm going to show you how we decorate, the different ways that you can decorate it once it's cured. Scrape my stick off. Stir this powder in so it's all incorporated. And now I'm just going to And y'all can see. Okay, so we're gonna mix up a little more, and like I said, I have some, there it is. And you don't have to wear gloves for this. I'm wearing gloves because I was gonna be working with this colorant, and I didn't wanna leave with green hands or, you know, any kind of color on my hands from adding colorant to this ECO resin. And you can tell when you stir this, you can tell the resistance. Oop, really? Y'all, this is why I keep baby wipes handy. That was a hit and miss. Whoop. And I will tell y'all, I did get word from JDiction. They now have an ECO resin that has a longer work time. That's a huge plus. Because like I said, normally you have 5 to 8 minutes of work time. And that's from the time you start stirring. Alright, so let's top this off. Good enough. Alright. Alright, you see the little toes there? That's what we don't want to take this out of the mold early and mess up. So I'm going to let that sit. And what am I going to pour? We could just pour a little, some hearts. Good enough. And let's do this for this little bit that's left. I'm gonna add these little drops in, and we're just going, y'all can see this, I can't really see. Alright, just make some little marble effects. These are so cute, y'all. I love this mold. This is going to be speckled. That's what it looks like. Out of the way, stick away, move all of this, there we go. Now, that's all for that, y'all. We are going to let that set up, and like I said, I'm gonna let it set for 4 to 5 hours because I want it completely cured. Water's gonna evaporate off. These are gonna get hard. Wanna just tap this to release those bubbles. See that one right there. Alright. There's that. See it rising up. And pop. So, like I said, we're gonna let this sit. When I come back, we're gonna talk about how you can color and decorate these. And I have a pro tip for you that can generate a lot of sales if you do this. All right, guys, for you it'll be a minute, for me it's gonna be a few. See you shortly. Hey y'all, it's Kat from Kat Southern Charms, back to finish this off, and I'm having major technical difficulties. Imagine that, right? So, what I want to do is I want to show you the finished project, and I want to talk about how you can color, highlight, give details, all that to these kind of projects. What you can use, what you can't use, and remember I had a pro tip for y'all to help you make a profitable thing that really works well. So let's get these out really quick, and you can see, you hear that they're completely cured, and you can see the little speckles and stuff where we added the colorant to give that extra little added effect. So that is that. Now, what I want to talk about, and we'll just go over the bones part first. You can make things with ECO resin. Well, goodness gracious, I can't hold on to it. You can make different things with ECO resin, like I made the bunnies and the bears. You remember those little molds that I showed you guys? You can pour them clear white blanks, and then you can add, and I usually get these little pop top acrylic paints, cut this in half, so 3 and 3, and I put 3 colors in with a ECO resin blank, and I make it one little kit, and it comes with a little, you know, cheap paintbrush, whatever, for kids to use. And I make these as party favors. I had a few clients that wanted party favors for a birthday party that they were having, to have an activity for the kids to do, or just to pack in goodie bags to take home, where they can do it at home with their parents or however they want to do it. I packed a few blanks of different animals, or you can add hearts, whatever you want to add, and 3 of the little pop top paints for them to use. You can add little acrylic markers. Sorry for that, y'all. Let's try again. You can add little acrylic pop top paint to put in the kit so they can paint their pieces with that. You can put in acrylic markers so they can use the pens and either write on it or color on it, however they want to do. So that is a great idea to be able to offer those to your clients who are looking for an art that is safe for children to do. This is a great party favor idea. So let's talk about our turtle. And he's been sitting a lot longer than I had planned. So he's fully cured. We're not going to lose little pieces off of him. This is super flexible, soft silicone that we use for him. Pulls right back, ready for the next use. But y'all, look how cute this is. He's so adorable. And it's cold to the touch. And these, you do want to seal this, okay? And I use a beeswax sealant, and you just put it on a cloth or some paper towels, whatever you want to use, and you just rub it over your piece. And what it does is it seals it, because right now this is porous. It's open pores. So if water gets to it, it can disintegrate it and cause issues, and you're going to lose your design. So you want to make sure you seal these with the appropriate sealant. JDiction has one that's super glossy. You can use that. I prefer beeswax because I don't want it really glossy, like you would add to a kiln project. Once it's fired, you add that so it's super shiny and glossy. If that's the effect you want, great. But you don't have to just use that. you can use regular beeswax and just rub over this. I do mine in 2 coats. I do a thin coat, I let this sit for a day, and I come back the next day and I add another thin coat to make sure that it's good and sealed, especially if you're going to put plants in this or you're going to have to water it and things like that. But y'all, it's super cute. I'm so happy with him. Now, how you can color it, add details, things like that. You can use acrylic paint to paint those on. You can use acrylic paint pens. You can use metallic paint pens to put on him. And after I do that, I use a spray sealant. This one is matte and my other is glossy. So you can choose, do you want a matte finish? Do you want a glossy finish? It's all up to you, whatever you design and how you want it to look, how your customer wants it to look. That's all up to you. But I spray thin coats over this to lock my colors in. And it also, this spray also has a UV protectant to protect and keep it from fading so quickly if it's exposed to sun. So, y'all, he's super cute. I'm not going to go into detailing and coloring him because I don't want this video long, because like I said, I'm having very major technical difficulties, which is super frustrating, but I'm trying to get this video done, uploaded for you guys ASAP. I'm trying some other things, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the tech gods are on my side and I can get this uploaded for you guys today. I hope that's the case. Make sure you do all the YouTube things. Like this video so others who have wondered about this can find it. And subscribe and ding that bell so you don't miss upcoming videos that we have going. I have some really fun ones planned that you don't want to miss. So, until next time, you guys, happy arting. Ta-ta for now.